Okay, nice to have you join us. You're still on to AM Chat on MITV, and this morning we will be talking with Mr. Jide Johnson, who happens to be the HOD of Mass Communication, Nigerian Institute of Journalism, Lagos State. Nice to have you join us in the program, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
So we're going to be talking about the electioneering process in Nigeria. Are we getting it right? Against the backdrop of Ekiti and Osun elections, which have just been concluded for 2015 February, do you think we're getting it right?
Basically, you discovered that from 2011 to 2014, we made remarkable progress as regards the electioneering process. 2011, we recorded pass mark compared to 2003 and 2007 election that were fraught with irregularities that received international condemnation, but 2011 election received passed mark from even both local and international observers. And then the election in Edo, in Anambra State, which has a little bit of hiccup as a result of the Idemili North local government, and the election in Ekiti, Osun, and Ondo, has indicated that we have made a remarkable progress as regards preparation towards the election and the actual conduct of the election. Although there are fallouts from the election that needed to be addressed, basically there's no perfect election anywhere. There are issues that will crop up that you have to address in subsequent election. But to a large extent, with the series of elections we've had in 5 states, we can say that we are moving towards the right direction.
Okay, I want to ask this. From what we have seen and what you've said, that means we should be very hopeful in 2015 election, because many people have actually spelled doom. They have said that it will be bloody, it will be terrible, it will not work out and all that. But from what we have seen, do you think that it's going to be the opposite of what so many people anticipated?
Basically, if you look at there were 2 elections that people felt that could be volatile. The Ekiti election and the Osun, the recently concluded Osun election. Even during the course of the election, the eventual winner was busy complaining about the process. Are you getting my point? But at the end of the day, he approved the process. The eventual winner, the governor that was re-elected. Basically, if you watch it live on TV during the course of the election, you see the challenge we have is the maturity of the political class. If there is problem with the electoral process, it has nothing to do with the electorate, it has to do with the political class. Are they ready to accept defeat when they are defeated fair and square? Are they ready to concede defeat? Are you getting my point?
And are they ready to play fair?
Are you getting it? Which takes us to the issue of security. Like some people are clamoring that and the elections that have been held in Ekiti, that have been heavily guarded with security. You see, do we take away security out of election?
No way.
To a large extent, what we needed to talk about is that the security that we are bringing in should be educated as regards what should be their conduct, what should be their relationship with the voters. They are not there to go and intimidate people. Are you getting my point? So whichever security we are deploying in this state, they should be trained on how to conduct themselves.
Staying on the security issue as regards electioneering and everything, because one of the issues that was so visible was that of masked men, and we saw the INEC umpire yesterday coming out to say that for the rest of the election for 2015 there will be no issues of masked men. Should we even be having the issue of masked men in the first instance?
It is antithetical to democratic principle. It is antithetical to security issue. Why should the security personnel cover his face? Is he an assassin? I am totally against that. Are you getting me? I am totally against that. It's not called for. We shouldn't have such. We shouldn't. Right. We shouldn't. There shouldn't be nobody in his right senses. We approve. What if he's meant to protect me? Why is he covering his identity?
That's true.
When it's not a criminal, it's people who, people that cover their faces like that are when we watch movies, and then people go to rob a bank, and you get. So to a large extent, even if I want to go out to vote and I see somebody marking his face, I'll be intimidated. I'll be scared. So I support the INEC chairman's view on that. I think that we need to deploy security, but we also need to educate the security people on how to conduct themselves during the electoral process. Don't forget that soldiers are trained to fight war.
Beautiful. But actually, sir, if you're looking at the Osun and Ekiti elections, the security status of elections are actually very, very overemphasized. They're very important. You can't take that out. To a large extent, Nigerians are saying that most of these security agents are actually deployed to this state because of the credibility of elections. We still don't believe in the credibility of electoral processes in Nigeria. Nigerians still complain of the credibility of elections because that's basically the reason why you see people challenging electoral results. They go to tribunals, you're going to vote, and there's so much apathy displayed by voters because they feel their votes don't count. There's so much security agents and agencies deployed to different polling units and polling. What would you say about the credibility of the electoral process in Nigeria?
What we should address first is the credibility of the political class.
The credibility of the political class.
How credible is our political class? What is the ideology? Let me ask you. They don't have any ideology. You see a person in one party today, tomorrow is another party. Are you getting my point? Tomorrow he leaves the party, he's joined. Next tomorrow he moves back to the party. You see it all over. The major actors in APC today used to be former PDP members, and some new actors in PDP today used to be APC members. Are you getting my point? Yeah. So it's the credibility of the political class. The political class itself is not credible.
But the political class calls the shots. Like when I say they call the shots, what I mean is they're the ones more or less who kind of enforce what they want to do. We are the voters. We almost have little or no say until when it comes to the day proper for elections when we're going to cast our votes. All we can do is keep clamoring for credibility of elections. Now, do we need to enhance debates and a lot of other forums for these electors to come out and then state what they're supposed to be doing?
I am going to throw a challenge at you.
Okay.
You can tell who the likely presidential candidate of the Democratic Party in the United States for in United States. You can tell that of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Who will be the governor of Lagos State? I'm coming. We are conducting an election in February next year. We don't even have an indication. The candidates have not engaged in any interaction or relationship with the citizenry. Who will be the president of Nigeria in 2015? In 2015, and the election is taking place less than 6 or 7 months away. So you see, basically, the issue has to do with the foundation of our electoral process.
Okay.
It has to do with it. There's no debate, there's no interaction, there's no program. People just go to party platform because, you know, if I'm in APC in Lagos, I have 60, 70, 80, 90% of winning. If I'm in PDP in a particular state, I have 60, 70, 80% of winning. And that's why people struggle to get the party ticket, because they know that once they get the party ticket, majority of us in actual sense, we vote for parties and not candidates and not program.
Yes.
Yeah, but do we need to re-emphasize on the debates and create platforms for this electorate?
Basically, there should be our electoral process need to be reformed at least 6 months, 2 years before the election. Like this issue of banning political campaign, you are stifling the fundamental human right, one of the candidate, the right to expression, two, of the right of the citizenry to know what the candidates have on offer. You can campaign for anything. After all, Hillary has started campaigning.
Yes.
Ron Paul has started campaigning. Are you getting my point? And the election is taking place in 2016. When INEC came up with that, they have banned. It's totally wrong. It's totally. I have the right to aspire. It's my franchise to aspire to the president of Nigeria, and I can start declaring it at any forum, at any debate. So we must engage in robust debate. Okay. Without debate and discussion, we will not be able to determine the right candidate for the job.
Okay.
Okay, let's leave the electoral, let's
move away from
players for 1 minute, and let's talk about INEC and its preparedness. Just 2 days ago in the news, we hear that over 30,000 more polling units have been delineated. In your opinion, how far would that go with the whole process?
Yeah, you see, we tend to concentrate more on the election, whereas there are other things that needed to be done. Basically, after 10 years of, every 10 years, you need to delineate the constituencies, you need to arrange the constituency, you need to create new polling units because the population will have increased, new settlement will have emerged. These are issues that we should also throw spotlight on. We tend to throw spotlight on the election. But whereas it is the election is just a minute aspect of the electoral process. The electoral process starts with voters registration, constituency delineation. Are you getting my point? Yeah. If the people that will vote are not properly registered, if the constituency are not properly delineated, how are you going to have representation? And democracy is about representative governance.
But is that inefficiency from INEC? Would you say that
basically you see since Jega came in,
okay,
I'm not a spokesperson, but you agree with me that to a large extent INEC has exerted its independence, the independent aspect of its name, okay, Independent National Electoral Commission. The independent aspect, INEC has emphasized that in its conduct.
All right, from that, can we say that the present administration is actually sincere if they have left INEC alone?
Basically, you see, look, let's put it in perspective. Are you getting my point? I'm one of the major critics of the president as regards some certain things, and you just don't criticize for criticism's sake. Yeah. You criticize and you comment where there is needed to commend. You agree with me that the president has done well when we take the case of Anambra's election, Ekiti's election, Ondo's election, Oshun's election. You agree with me that the president is not a win-win situation for the president, because in actual sense PDP has lost more than they've gained.
Yes.
Are you getting my point?
So the present administration is actually sincere. But a bit away from there, we heard in the news as well that we have over 17 million registered voters. Now, what does it speak? What kind of power does it put in the hands of the electorate? How can we use that?
I think one area that we need to really work on in our democracy is voters' education. She raised an issue as regards voters' apathy, people not going out to vote. Let's take the case of Osun State election and look at the total number of the people that actually voted. Are you getting my point? Yeah. Less than 400,000 to elect a governor that will sit on billions of naira for 4 years.
Whereas the population of the state is more than that.
In actual sense, if you do the math, you discover that the people that voted against whoever is elected, that is the travesty of democracy, are much more than the people that actually voted for him.
Okay. Wow. Okay, still talking elections and things we need before the elections. One of the major things that was just happening during all the elections were the issue of PVC, permanent voter cards. You know, the issue, we still have some time now for the next general election. What do you think INEC should be doing as regards getting each registered voter to getting that PVC?
I think I think you know what INEC did was to start the first phase, the second phase, and they started with 10 states, and then the third phase has started with about 10 states. I think on Monday for people to get the permanent. I think what we need to do is to integrate both your driver's license, our driver's license, with our national ID card, with our voter's card, just one database. You don't seem to go and say. I think that's the direction we should be going. But the challenge is the political way. That's when I talk about the political class. Okay. Are you getting my point? Yeah. What will stop me from going to the to election when I tender one single card? Are you getting my point? That this is my card, my driver's license, and I vote. Are you getting my point? Yeah. But because people that want to manipulate the process will not want us to have a unified database that will enable you to get your driver's license, that will enable you to get your passport, that will enable you to get your national ID card. Everything that you need to get, because there's a database. There's an exchange, a central database. Now, if you want to get your passport, you go to the passport office. If you want to get your ID card, you go to National ID card office. Every data they've collected from you from Federal Road Safety Commission and VIU for your driver's license, you still provide for INEC. And these are federal agencies where you should have collaboration. There should be a central data processing unit.
What do you think is wrong? Is it what's wrong? What's wrong with the government?
Is the will.
Why can't they just
is the will? Is the political
will. Are you pointing it down to the political parties as well?
I said it's the political will of the political class. is the political will of the political class.
Or of the presidency.
No, it's the political will. The presidency is just a person. The president is a person. The presidency is an institution. Do you know how many people that work in the office of the presidency?
Yes.
You see, in Africa, we tend to personalize office. Now, rather than build institution, we build, whether we like it or not, Jonathan will leave. If he wins, hypothetically, 2015, he will be there 2019. Are you getting my point? And by 2019, another person will win. If he doesn't win 2015, another person will be there. The presidency is an institution. Obasanjo was there before. Yar'Adua was there later. Now Jonathan is not there. Basically, that's why it's the credibility of the political class. And Nigerians are watching. Nigerians are watching. What is happening in other parts of the world should be a lesson for our political class.
That takes me to a question. So you just said what is happening in other parts of the world should be a lesson to our political class. A few weeks back, the U.S. Consulate General to Nigeria, Jeffrey Hawkins, was actually talking about the electoral processes in America, and he was particularly emphasizing on credibility. Now, the question I want to ask you is, in the international communities, in the face of international people, what is the image of Nigeria in present times? I mean, with the 2011 election, which was credible to the sight of international observers and, of course, to Nigerians, the Osun State election and the Ekiti election, which have been allegedly said to be credible. What's our status right now in front of international communities? That's from your own perspective. How do they regard us now?
Our image has improved as an electoral process. If you do a comparative analysis, the only way you can make science of public administration is for you to do a comparative analysis of two cases. If you do a comparative analysis of 2011 election with that of 2007,
I remember you talking about 1993.
Are you getting my point? 2003 election or 2007 election. In 2003, we had different types of result, which I call, you know, we used to have landslide, we had ocean slide, and ocean slide, whereby in riverine area, 90,000 people registered and 90,000 people voted. Are you getting my? And then we had mountain slide in mountainous area in Adamawa State, whereby 90,000 people registered and 90,000 people voted. Now we've seen a transition, a progression in terms of the credibility of the electoral process from 2011.
Yeah.
And the pockets of election that we have had in some states, we've seen something good out of it. So I believe we should be hopeful, we should be prepared, and towards 2015 election, and I believe that the image we have built over time will be sustained come 2015 election.
Now,
like, let me quickly add this. Like the Ekiti election, it's a wake-up call for that an incumbent can lose in Nigeria. It was free, it was fair. It taught the political class. If you are very conversant with the political process in the Southwest, you will see that different government in different states have begun to change their policies.
Yes.
In response to the determination of the people to determine their fate through their ballot.
Now, a little bit away from there, what do you think is going to happen with Boko Haram still there, still very, very menace, and the election? Boko Haram and election, how do we marry them together? What do you think is going to happen here?
Majef Fashek sang a song. He said, religion, now politics. You can't devoid politics out of religion, and you can't devoid religion out of politics. Now, the intensity of Boko Haram onslaught increased when the election result was declared in 2011. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
And it has not abated. Are you getting my point?
Okay.
Boko Haram is not the friend of anybody.
Sorry, sir, are these speculations or they are facts? Are they factual?
Immediately, the press,
the election result, the intensity, you can, they are facts. They can be verified.
Started going off.
You can verify. You can verify.
Bombs started going off.
The intensity of Boko Haram onslaught in Nigeria
increased after the election.
After the elections, after the announcement of the result. You see, whether we like it or not, there is no nation that we allow a terrorist organization to determine its sovereignty.
Okay.
Boko Haram is not a friend of a Christian, it's not a friend of a Muslim,
All right, I
it's
think,
not a friend of a Nigerian.
Let us pause. We have a caller online. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us on AM Chat. We're talking about politics. Good morning. What's your question or comment? Hello? Chris from Idumota. How are you this morning? Hello, Chris? Oh, I think we lost that call. Chris, you can call us again by the number displayed on the screen. You were saying.
So basically, it's not the girls that were abducted, the people that have lost their lives.
Their lives, yeah.
Are you getting my point?
How will election hold in those places that become a hold to Boko Haram?
You know,
in those states?
you know what constitutions, what the 1999 constitution provided for, is for the president-elect to have 25% of the votes cast in 2/3 of the states in Nigeria. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
And polling the highest number of votes. That's the requirement. Because you see, by virtue of our constitution, elections might not take place in one zone for us to have a president. It's already provided. It's already provided in our constitution. The framers of the constitutions are the president has the power to declare a state of emergency.
Yeah.
In the event of state of emergency, you can't conduct election. People can only go to vote when the atmosphere and the environment is peaceful.
Yes.
Are you getting my point? So the framers of the constitution, the people in that environment are only denying themselves their legitimate right to participate in the electoral process.
Now, is it the people in that area, because they are the ones being killed, they are the ones being maligned, they are the ones that have lost their properties and all that? Is it the people or an external force that has come to assert itself upon them, and because they are the ones losing? They have lost their life, they have lost their children, lost so many things.
I am not a security personnel, and I don't work in the intelligence. But you agree with me that there's no Nigerian that is happy with what is happening in Borno State and parts of Yobe State. There's no Nigerian. Nigeria, we are peace-loving, we love life. You know, there was a research that was done that said Nigerians are the most happiest.
More diverse.
Are you getting my point? People on the planet Earth. And yesterday, as I was going on, one of my students was telling me that Al Jazeera came to Nigeria and they were doing this story on this bushmeat over the Ebola scare, and then they went to somewhere in Ikorodu and they saw people eating the bushmeat. And people said, we've been eating bushmeat for 100 years and nothing happened to us, so you to come and taste it. So basically, we are happy people. We love our neighbors, we love ourselves, we relate to one another regardless of your class, creed, or religion, or race, or ethnicity. Are you getting my point? So we don't want to lose that on the basis of politics, on the basis of religion. So what is happening is not good for our nation, it's not good for the people. So are you getting my point? So we will be glad if every part of Nigeria is peaceful. Are you getting? Are you getting my point? That should be the prayer of every one of us, and we can use this platform to appeal to the people behind this thing to please take the overall interest of Nigeria ahead of their personal or primordial interest and come to the table to table their grievances. You know, the former military president of Nigeria said that they shouldn't negotiate with them. Do you negotiate with people you don't see? Are you getting what I'm saying? But we appeal to them.
Okay, fine. Let's leave Boko Haram for 1 minute. Okay,
we have a caller, Justin.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
I think we lost that. I was going to say, you talked about voter education. Let's talk about those who actually are in the forefront, the ad hoc staff and everything. Because we had reported cases of INEC giving an order that those who are actually on the queue before a particular time should be allowed to, vote, do their accreditation and everything. While those ad hoc staff are directly opposite what they were actually doing. What do you think about that, aside from educating the voters? What about those who actually conduct the elections?
You see, we still have some elements of military tendencies in our democratic process. We still have it. You see, if the democratic process should be that between so and so you can go and cast your vote and go to your home, and you know it is wait till this particular time. You know we accredit voters till 12, and after 12, if you come after 12, you can't vote. What you have is a timeline for the election. I come, I'm accredited, I vote. Once I have the permanent voters card, which takes us to the issue of electronic voting. Are you getting what I'm saying? Okay. So using timeline, there are still the vestiges of military controlled democracy. Okay. So basically, I am totally against that. Let's have a timeline. There's a timeline by 4 p.m. the voting will end. You can come between 1 and 4, as long as voting time has not ended. Whether you are accredited or you are not accredited, you should be accredited to vote if you're on the line. But they say accreditation has ended by 12, and because it has ended by 12, you come 12:01, you can't vote. They have denied you your franchise, and at the end of the day, we'll be complaining of low voters turnout.
Okay. So basically, there should be more training for ad hoc staff.
Yes, there should. You can't just pick. You can't just pick. You see, we can't take away. That's why the military is one of the most organized institutions in the world, anywhere in the world. Why? They don't joke with training. They train and retrain. You can't take away the place of training, capacity building, capacity enhancement of your staff. You and I that are here, most people are watching at home. It's a product of endless training. And after this program, more training. Are you getting my point? So we need to train. You can't just say, okay, because they are vice chancellors of university, they know about the electoral process, or because they are NYC student, NYC people. Are you getting my point? And they know how to handle. No, they need to be trained. They need to be trained.
I want to add up to what the question Justin just asked you about the ad hoc staffs. Now, INEC has its laid down rules and regulations, principles, which has been more or less somewhat guided by the Constitution. Of course, Atahiru Jega cannot come up with any law or any regulation without members of the House of Assembly, the President, and a lot of other persons attesting to the fact that this is okay. Now, if INEC has its rules and regulations, we as voters, we as participants are supposed to abide by these rules and regulations. The question I want to ask you is, are we abiding by the rules and regulations of INEC? Like what he said about the ad hoc staff, after 12 noon you can't vote, after this time you can't do this, you can't do that. Do we abide by the rules and regulations of INEC? You should also remember that for every state there's a REC, that's the Resident Electoral Commissioner. Everything is not just about the chairman of INEC, Atahiru Jega. Everybody seems to be pointing fingers at Atahiru Jega, but there are RECs for every state. There are Resident Electoral Commissioners. Do they ensure that the voters, the participants, abide by the rules and regulations of INEC?
You see, there are two ways, there are two sides to a coin. Now, rules are made for man and not man for rule. I'll give you an example. Let's assume that you are the INEC ad hoc staff in my ward, in Ifakoja local government in June, and then there are 70 people that have not been accredited because they came late and they want to vote, and their names are on the list, and the actual voter, and they are screaming, you want to deny us our basic right. It's a fundamental right that we have to determine who becomes our president or our governor. What would you do?
But there's a chairman of Ifako-Ijaye local government area, for instance, who should take these complaints to the REC.
To the
Resident Electoral Commissioner.
I'm putting it to you that you are the line officer in the face of 70 angry voters.
If I were to be the chairman, I'll take the complaints and whatever it is to the REC. That's exactly what I'm saying. The chairman should take these complaints to the REC and not
all right, before you answer that, we have Paul from Ogba. Hello, Paul. Good morning. Welcome to AM Chat. Hello, good morning, Paul. There seem to be some technical issues with the line. Paul, do try and call us back. Okay, you just answer the question.
So basically what I'm just saying is that, you see, we need some measure of flexibility. Are you getting my point? In the application and interpretation of these laws. I'm talking because I had participated and I had been involved in the electoral process. When you go to the field, you are blowing grammar. When people that are actually interested in voting, legitimate voters, it's a right. When you deny people their right, if you see their reaction, it can lead to violence. Are you with me? So basically, I think that INEC laws are there, but some measure of, but like you have rightly observed, contact appropriate authorities for clearance, for you to be cleared before you take
don't
such
you think
decision.
the policy needs to be changed? Because if those people that are put there to preside over things are given, you know, they are given instructions.
Some measure of mandate.
Okay, Dr. Jude, I want you to hold on to that first. We'll take a short break and we'll come back and answer the question that Goldman just answered. It's still AM Chat on MITV. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.